let's see how to spin a figure, flip a figure, and make sure that we can print a figure. So I have the heart tool and I have the ring tool that I've dragged over. For the ring tool, if you click on it, I want to show you something kind of cool. If you come up here to the shape window and click on it, you'll see where it says sides. You can drag these out to make them thicker. And I recommend doing that with the ring tool because the ring tool is going to print really thin and you really want it a little thicker. So I do recommend working with this somewhat. And then you can move around to see how that is going to look. And now I can zoom in to see what's actually happening with my ring tool. Now I'm going to go back to my home view. Okay, so if I want to put this heart on my ring, I can drag it over. And sometimes you can't tell how big two things are compared to each other unless you put them near each other. Obviously, this heart needs to be a lot smaller. So one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this, but I'm going to hold Shift on dragging. So I'm going to grab the corner white box. And as I drag, I'm going to hold Shift, and that keeps the heart in the same proportion. If I don't hold Shift, this is what happens. You can lose your proportion, okay? So I'm going to hit Control Z, take it back, and then drag while holding Shift. Now, I need this heart to be standing up to attach it to my ring. So in order to do that, I want you to notice there are 3 rounded arrows. This one, and it's kind of hard to see the other one, but if you move your figure around, it appears. It's right over here. And if you hover over each of them, it tells you what degree the figure has been turned. So this is how you rotate your figure or spin your figure. Now, I want to rotate this so it's up on its side, and I want to rotate it straight up, which should be 90 degrees. So I'm going to click here and type in 90 degrees. If I get it wrong, I can try it again. And I hit enter, and sure enough, it pops up 90 degrees. Now notice my figure is underneath and on top of the work plane. Now I'm going to drag it and attach it to my ring. And I want it to overlap that ring a little bit so when it prints, they're attached to each other. So grouping won't create that attachment for you. You have to actually drag the heart into the ring a little bit. You may need to zoom in to actually see what's happening and how far it's into your ring. Here we go. And then you can drag back around. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I can align it. So we've used the Align tool before. So I'm going to click on Align. And I'm going to align it up and down and just see how that looks. That looks a little bit better. And I'm also going to align it in the middle here, sideways. And now I can group it. The heart did not align perfectly, so now I'm going to align it, center it, highlight the whole thing, and group it together as one piece. Okay, so now if I was to try to print this, you want to have the most surface area on the bed as possible, and if I print this, it's either the bottom of the heart or the top of the heart will be touching the mat the most, and that's not going to work so well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this so that the flat part of the heart is going to be on the work plane. So highlight the figure and then click on this arc arrow, and I'm going to choose the 0 degrees and make it 90. You can also just drag, and it turns it upside down just the way I want it to be. Now I need to move this up so that the heart is flush with the work plane. So as I'm moving it up, I'm going to close the shape box. I want to move it up until it's exactly on the work plane. So I'm going to drag this cone shape, and when I do, I can see how far up it is. And I want it to be at 0. So there it's at 0. I also could have clicked in here and typed 0. So this is ready to print. The goal is to have, again, the most even surface area on the work plane so that it will print well. Now I want to show you one other tool while we are here, and that is the flip tool. So another thing you can do is flip your figure. And if you highlight your figure and come up here, this is the flip tool. So if I flip it, if I click on the flip tool, 3 arrows appear letting me know there's 3 ways I can flip this: front to back, sideways, or up and down. So let's say I'd had the heart on the top, it would have looked like this. If it had been set up this way, I can just flip it straight down to get it where we want it in order to print. So that flip tool can be very helpful. You can't tell when I flip it from side to side because I have it set up well. And front to back just determines, in this case, how the heart is going to look. If I'm going to have the pointy end pointing away or pointing towards me, it doesn't really matter for this particular print.